ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ वर्स् 256 चित्प्रत्यक्षाततोऽन्यस्य मिथ्यात्वं चानुभूयते नाद्वैतमपरोक्षं चेत् नाद्वैतं परोक्षं चेति एतन्न व्याहतं कथम्. So the student expressed a particular problem, and the problem is one pramana reveals dvaitam, other pramana reveals, that's what he says, other pramana reveals advaitam. Advaitam cannot be perceived. Advaitam is not pratyaksha. So Advaitam, when we establish Advaitam, that is what he says. So when you establish Advaitam, you will have to leave Pratyaksha Pramana and go to Anuman. And therefore, basically, Advaitam is established through Anuman. That's an amazing thing, this discussion. This is the question of every student in every camp after many years. Amazing. And I am also getting answer here myself also. Okay, so Dvaitam, why Dvaitam does not go? One person very nicely said, quite close to me, hearing itself, he says in a class there is a Dvaitam and there is a flip over. When you go out, it's a flip over to Dvaitam. And therefore, how person can gain a Advaita Nishtha? He is very committed person, he committed student. Well, the answer is here. Answer is here. They think the very basic mistake is this: Advaitam and Dvaitam are equally real and they are opposite. Therefore, when one is there, other will not be there. When other is there, the first one will not be there. This is the silver line of a mistake. It's a mistake. Anyway, I am going to discuss, but I could not resist. One is mithya and the other is satyam. They cannot understand. Advaitam is something which accommodates Dvaitam. Habba. Accommodates Dvaitam. And therefore Dvaitam basically is just an apparent thing which cannot threaten Advaitam. And Advaitam remains Advaitam. And that Advaitam fortunately happens to be even the basis of Pratyaksha. That's another thing. People feel from Pratyaksha, let us start, Pramana. And whatever is established by this Pramana available to the human being, we should accept. And that's another mistake. more than all the pramanas available to the human being, there is a one pramana which establishes you, who uses this all pramana. And that is this Chaitanya, which is the basis of even Pratyaksha also. Shrotrasya Shrotram, Chakshusha Chakshuhu, Grahanasya Granam. And so your Pratyaksha, let it reveal Dvaitam. But the very basis of that Pratyaksha is this Advaitam, Chaitanya. How are you going to negate it? Anyway, we will be discussing that. So, his contention is this: Dvaita Anubhava is direct, Pratyaksha, and Advaita Siddhi is through Anumana. And therefore, even if you, O teacher, in a class you continue to tell us that you are Advaitam, and you prove it also through Anumana, through logic, but when I come out of the class, well, Pratyaksha reveals Dvaitam. And therefore now I have understood, since Pratyaksha is stronger than Anumana, what is revealed by Pratyaksha called Dvaitam will be stronger. And therefore Dvaitam will not go. And that is why I don't have Advaita Nishtha. Would you follow what I am saying? And so Vidyaranya says, well, how? So basically there is no such thing called Paroksha Jnanam of Advaita. So Advaita Jnanam is always aparoksham, because the Vastu, the Chaitanya is aparoksha, which happens to be Advaitam by default. It is its nature, because the Chaitanyam is Brahman, limitless. If it is limitless, there is nothing to divide. If Chaitanyam is divided, Chaitanyam cannot be limitless. So definitely this Dvaitam, which you are saying is well revealed through Pratyaksha, etc., it doesn't have a capacity. Dvaitam, the world, does not have a capacity to threaten this Advaitam. And that happens to be the self. Chaitanyam, the consciousness, happens to be the self. To establish consciousness, well, you need consciousness, which is self-established. Consciousness is self-established thing by which, on basis of that, all pramana establishes everything. And therefore, basically, this consciousness happens to be non-dual, which is aparoksham, which is immediate, which is direct, and which happens to be non-dual, can never be threatened by this Dvaitam, well, which is mithya. And therefore, Advaita Jnanam is always a paroksham. Very statement that paroksha Advaita Jnanam. You said you have, oh teacher, you are proving through logic Advaita Jnanam. Well, and therefore Advaita Jnanam is paroksham. What is Anumanam? What is proven by Anumanam is paroksham, definitely. Because it is not direct. Like the fire on the hillock, which is paroksham, of course. Which if you are able to see the fire on a hillock, why should you do an inference? So basically, this Advaitam which you are proving through Anumanam, etc., is paroksham. But we are saying very statement that paroksha Advaita Jnanam indicates ignorance. Paroksha Advaita Jnanam. Advaita Vastu, the consciousness, well, is paroksha. It happens to be aparoksha Vastu. What happens to be aparoksham, if you know it as aparoksham, it is Jnanam. Aparoksha Vastu is known as a paroksham, is a Brahma. Simple. So, paroksha Advaita Jnanam. Advaita Vastu consciousness is paroksham, which happens to be a paroksham, and you say it is paroksha Jnanam you have, it is a Brahma, it is not a knowledge. Knowledge is something, well, it is always in keeping with the object. Vastu Tantram Jnanam. So Vastu, it happens to be aparoksham. You should know it as aparoksham. And this aparoksha Chaitanya, which does not require any pramana. Aparoksham is Swayam Siddha Vastu, which is self-established, self-existent, self-revealing. Everything has come in this aparoksham. In fact, on basis of that, all pramana, including pratyaksha, works. The very I function. You say, well, through my eye, the world which is revealed is Dvaitam. Yeah, very I functions because the very consciousness is there present in the I. And we are talking about that consciousness, and which is self-revealing, self-existent, which is in the form of a very aham. And therefore, basically, consciousness is the even basis of what is Dvaitam. And therefore, what is Dvaitam is dependent upon consciousness. Anyway, this has several arguments, but we'll keep a certain limit in this. So anyway, Paroksha Advaita Jnanam indicates ignorance. This is a very big issue, very big issue. And this issue is a core issue. This happens to be, this is a question of a seeker who is really committed to the study. And he has certain frustration that this Dvaita Vastu is something which does not allow me, have a Advaita Nishtha. Somehow this Dvaitam should go. And then and it comes out in a form of this question. In a class, I understand Dvaitam is Mithya. And when I come out wearing the chappal, and then I find Dvaitam is Satyam, etc., etc. This is a very big issue. And therefore, there is nothing, in fact, your non-dual cannot be threatened by anything, because there is nothing else of an equal reality of Advaita, which can affect Advaita. Anyway, and therefore, then we are giving some further argument. So, you said it is Paroksha Advaita Jnanam. You said like that. Please understand, what is Paroksha? Paroksha means which is remote. Remote means what? Away. Away means what? Away in time, away in space. And therefore, like the time, space-wise or time-wise, anything which is away, we call it Paroksha, right? And so places like Badrinath, can be it is Paroksha, because it is specially away from me right now. If you want to look at your Shatabhishekam, 88th birthday, you can imagine the whole function. And at the age of 80, how do you look? You can go to computer and find out. So you should tell to computer, please show me how will I look at the age of 80. Then they will say you will look like this. And then not only that, then if you say, wearing all this alankara and everything on the 88th birthday, how will I look? Then that will also they will show. Still, definitely it's a possibility. And so whatever knowledge you gain about yourself of your 88th year is Paroksha Jnanam. It is time-wise away. Space-wise something is away, time-wise something is away, and therefore basically time-wise or which we call it as a Paroksha Vastu. So definitely that is possible. But this Advaita Vastu is also away time-wise or space-wise. If you can prove it, it is Paroksha. But Advaita Vastu, we have already told you, it is ever experienced Chaitanyam, because of which even direct experiences called Pratyaksha is possible. Or experience of a Paroksha Vastu is possible. All Pramanas, basically have a basis definitely in this consciousness, which is aparoksha. We are telling you it is aparoksha. And therefore, definitely, and you tell this aparoksha vastu as a paroksham. You say paroksha advaita jnana. So then you will have, if you take this vastu as a chaitanya as a paroksham, then you will try to convert into aparoksham. And Vidyaranya says, Advaitam is never away from you, either time-wise or space-wise. Anything can be away from you, that is possible, other than you. Anything can be away from you, other than you, in terms of time or in terms of space. But you cannot be away from yourself in time and in space. Never possible. You can never be away from yourself in time and space. Where is paroksham? There is paroksham. Paroksham means which is away in time and space. No, but still I feel paroksham. That's a third kind of a remoteness that we have already talked to you, and that is ignorance. Yeah, in ignorance, of thing is away from you, but really speaking, you are not away. Really speaking, you are not away. Ignorance, well, due to ignorance, you feel that that is away from you. That's what the 10th man is away from the 10th man. Yeah, we know that. So you have to remove ignorance. That's what we are telling you. That Advaita Vastu is aparoksham. And therefore, well, there is no question of paroksha Advaita Jnanam and pratyaksha Advaita Jnanam. Pratyaksha is stronger than paroksha and anumana, etc. And therefore, Dvaitam is very, very powerful. And Advaitam is proven by this logic, etc., is weaker. And therefore, definitely, my mind will remain in Dvaitam only. Now I understood. All this is a bankam. All this is. So you may be thinking, what is this word, Swami? You should not use it. But anyway, what I am saying is, anyway, he says, well, and so many statements. Today we are going to this discussion only. We have this discussion, which is pertaining to our committed students. Shastra tells pratibodha viditam matam. In every cognition you are present as a satya vastu, invariable vastu. You are invariable. Nothing can remove you. You can't be away from that vastu. Pratibodha viditam matam. Bodham bodham prati yad viditam tad atma tad brahma. That is you. That is because of which the cognition takes place, because of which the pratyaksha takes place, or because of which any cognition takes place. The very cognition basically has a basis in this Atma. Any thought form plus consciousness is a bodha, is a cognition, is perception, inference, anything. Any thought form, which is never away from the consciousness. Consciousness is limitless. It pervades everything. Anyway, so how can you say, well, it is aparoksha vastu. How can you say, well, this is away? So, but Chaitanya, let us accept Chaitanya is away, at least time-wise. Time-wise, we should accept it. Why? Because this Dvaitam should go. Then the same aparoksha Chaitanya will be experienced as Advaitam. So, Dvaitam should go. And for this, at this moment, Dvaitam has not gone from my head. So I am saying time-wise, Advaita Vastu, Advaita Jnanam will be away, and that's why it is Paroksha. What do you think? He's asking a question. So, well, we say basically, you need not remove Dvaitam to know Advaita Vastu. You need not go into I know your mind is, has attachment for this Samadhi. You want to experience a Nirvikalpa Samadhi in which whole this world, this Dvaitam will resolve, Nirvikalpa. All Vikalpas will go and only this Dhyata will remain. Meditator will remain. The person who is gone into Samadhi. And then I experience myself as a just non-dual. And therefore, in that way, till I go to the Samadhi, etc., and experience a non-dual consciousness, there is a distance. That distance is in terms of time. And therefore, definitely, still I say it is Paroksha. We say you need not go to Samadhi at all. To experience Advaitam. This Dvaitam is something this Dvaitam, to experience Advaitam, you need not remove the world. World need not be removed. Mithya Vastu cannot be removed. First thing, Mithya Vastu cannot be removed and need not be removed. To have just a non-dual experience of a clay, do you think that should you destroy pot? Should you destroy a pot to experience, there are two parts suppose, and you want to experience non-dual clay. Do you think you have to destroy these pots? Need not. Mithya Dvaitam need not be removed, cannot be removed. What is available all the time for experience and yet it is unreal is mithya. And therefore, this world need not be removed, world cannot be destroyed also. World can't be destroyed, world need not be destroyed. This is mithya, and therefore, which is just experientially it is there, and therefore, consciousness is always available as a non-dual all the time in all the avasthas. All the avasthas. Jagrat, Sapna, Sushupti, even Samadhi, anywhere. But need not go to Samadhi in order to experience this Advaita. You feel that if I go there and this Dvaita world will go, Dvaita thought will go, all varieties of the thoughts will go, the world will go. It's not true. And you need not do it also. And even if you remove the thoughts in Samadhi, correct, but you cannot remove the world. How will you remove the world? So this is mithya, understand it. So Advaita Chaitanyam, Aparoksha Chaitanyam is Advaitam all the time. So in verse 256, he negates this. Advaitam na aparoksham. That's a student's. Earlier he said, Advaitam na aparoksham. Well, consciousness which I experience as aparoksham, which is immediate, is not Advaitam. You said that. Katham na vyahatam? Vidyaranya Swami says, Katham na vyahatam? How can this statement be not contradictory? It is contradictory. Advaitam na aparoksham. This consciousness which is immediate is not Advaitam, non-dual, which you said is a contradiction. It's all the time Advaitam alone, because this Dvaitam which you experience and which you continue to experience today, tomorrow, throughout the life, well, will not threaten, cannot threaten this Advaitam. Like the parts cannot threaten the non-duality of a clay. Cannot. You continue to experience the parts. Continue. All the time you will fill up the also. You may throw in by a new pot also. Everything you do. But the non-duality of the clay will never be threatened. This is to be understood. And therefore this Nirvikalpa Samadhi, etc., Vedantis do not accept because of this reason. So, well, if you want to have that experience, special experience, do that. We don't mind. But if I go to Nirvikalpa Samadhi and then I will realize I am a non-dual consciousness, limitless consciousness, and well, and then I will gain moksha, etc. No need. No need. If Dvaitam is Satyam, definitely one has to go to Nirvikalpa Samadhi. But Dvaitam will remain. If Dvaitam is Satyam, you cannot remove it also. That's another thing. If Dvaitam is not there totally, then you cannot experience also. So you experience, you continue to experience, and yet it is not there. Then you should not bother about it. That's the thing. You should not bother about it. And therefore, so at Puju Swamiji, at one place I have seen, so to understand Advaitam, nothing should be removed. Nothing should be removed. If you say something is to be removed to experience, to understand, to have a knowledge of Advaitam, well, it's a doubtful thing. Because of a same order of a reality is there, then definitely you should definitely to remove. But then Advaitam Vastu will never remain limitless because something you have removed. And therefore nothing is to be removed. Ultimately, that's where somewhere I saw Swamiji's statement. Nothing is to be removed. And you can understand this mantra. Purnamadav Purnamidam. Idam. What is there is Purnam. Adaha. Adaha means this, which is paroksha. Paroksha in terms of ignorance, we have seen that. So that's why for I, the aham, they have used word adaha. Adaha means that. That means which is paroksham. Paroksham not space-wise or time-wise, ignorance-wise. Adaha, so aham purnaha and idam also purnam. Means what? Nothing is to be removed. I think it is in that Shanti Mantra discussion Swamiji has said that. Almost I'm certain. Ultimately in your understanding of Advaitam, nothing is removed. Nothing is removed, nothing. Yeah, your notion that, well, I am an individual, that is to be removed in order to appreciate you are limitless. That is born of ignorance. And which has what is born of ignorance has no substantiality. And that is all misconceptions. That is to be removed. In order to appreciate everything is Purna. Yeah, Swamiji, nothing is to be removed than misconception. But very existence of a misconception, very existence of a ignorance is Brahman. Very misconception is that existence is Brahman. The very ignorance is Brahman. No opposition at all. No opposition. And that is you. That is you. Never away from you. Anything which is away from you, how can it be limitless? And therefore, ultimately, Chaitanyam is ever direct, ever Advaitam. Just drop this notion that Dvaitam is Satyam. That's what I answer to that person. Just keep working on this notion that Dvaitam is Satyam. Dvaitam is Satyam. That whenever it arises in you, well, establish Dvaitam is Mithya. Because any Dvaitam cannot exist on its own. All Dvaitam is basically dependent upon the pramanas available to the human being called Pratyaksha, etc. And those pramanas also basically have their being in consciousness. That is what the definition of Kenopanishad says. Chakshusha chakshuhu, shrotrasya shrotram, etc. So manaso manah, everything. So I am the mind of the mind, and I am ear of the ear, and eye of the eye. And therefore, well, I am Atma of everything. And therefore, whole Dvaitam has a Atma in Advaitam. That is how one swallows Dvaitam. One has to swallow, one should not run away from Dvaitam. This Dvaitam, our Advaitam is Dvaita Sahishnu. Well, it accommodates Dvaitam. It is not opposed to Dvaitam. And if it accommodates Dvaitam, Dvaitam must be Mithya. The very accommodation means basically existence. Existence of Dvaitam is Advaitam. And therefore, well, even after saying this student is really something, I tell you. He says, I have another problem now. See how beautifully he brings out everything. Verse 257. Itham jnatva santushtaha kechit kutah itiryatam charvakadeh prabuddhasya charvakadeh prabuddhasyapi atma deha kuto vada. So he says, until this point, I thought, well, that I have a indirect knowledge of Advaitam, in Brahman, Advaitam, and therefore I am not able to get the total benefit of knowledge. My samsara continued because of that, etc., etc. Now I understood that Advaita Jnanam is direct. This consciousness is Advaitam. This consciousness is non-dual, and therefore it is limitless. So it is Brahman. Very beautiful, very beautiful. But if my knowledge is such a now direct, you have given so wonderful knowledge, so nicely proved that I am non-dual consciousness, limitless consciousness. Then I should have a moksha, right? But I am very sorry to tell you that even though now I have this Advaita Aparoksha Jnanam, yet I am having a bondage. Still I feel I am samsari. No, you have, that's your responsibility because you have proven Advaita Aparoksha Jnanam. Aparoksha Vastu is Advaitam, non-dual, limitless. Very good. Then why I feel samsara? Why I feel? And not me. Asked another student. Then asked the third student. Then asked the fourth student. All 50, 100, whatever students are there, please ask everyone. You have addressed all 100. All will say, we have now got aparoksha jnanam, advaita aparoksha jnanam, and yet there is a samsara. There is no moksha. Now explain. So, itham gnatva, why the gap? I mean, you explain the gap between knowledge and moksha. He says, you explain the gap. I feel something is to be done. You are negating this samadhi. I feel after gaining jnanam, one should definitely go to that samadhi to experience non-duality of oneself, consciousness. This is, you people, you may have some grudge against or prejudice against these yogis because they live long and they have so much luster, and people, they fall for the yogis and nobody comes to you, and therefore I think you have some grudge. Itham gnatva api. Itham. In this manner I came to know now that there is a Advaita Jnanam is always aparoksham. Well, kechit asantushtaha kutaha. Kechit, some of them, why they are asantushtaha? Why they say that I am not Purnam? Moksha is not there. Why do they say? They don't claim this Purnatvam, they don't claim limitlessness. You say you are Aparoksha Chaitanya, which is limitless, non-dual. Non-dual means limitless. Duality means limitation. So, that still I use word, but if I use just non-dual, you can understand it is Brahman only. So, I am non-dual Brahman, everything beautifully you said. But Kechit asantushtaha kutam. There should be santosha, satisfaction. Oh, I am limitless. All the objects which I desire is me alone. I am the truth of everything. I am Atma of everything. So, but instead we find Kechit, some of them, kutaha asantushtaha. Why they are asantushtaha? They have got aparoksha jnana, but they don't claim moksha. So, like if you have some problem, if you have some doubt, or teacher, keep two kinds of chairs. One row of chair, another row of chair. In one row of chair, you tell, you know very well, all the students are very honest. Now you have given this aparoksha jnana of Advaita Vastu, everything, very beautiful jnana. But now you ask them, that those who definitely have gained moksha, well, definitely they sit on this particular row of chair. And still those who feel samsara, well, they sit on this other row of the chair. I am telling you, you will have to lift all this chair from this side to this side. All will say we are samsaris still, even after gaining this aparoksha jnana. Nobody will sit in this chair that I have gained moksha. And therefore, iti iryatam. Well, so may answer be given by you now. What is the gap between knowledge and moksha? You have to tell. So, Vidyaranya wants to have a fun now. So, he feels the question is wrong, he knows. And so, I know that I am Purnaha. I know I am limitless. And still you say I don't have a moksha. Is something, this statement is a very mysterious statement. I know I am limitless and yet I don't have a moksha. That statement really needs it's a mysterious statement. So basically, Puja Swami used to say, I know I am Brahman, but my wife is very sick. It's a mysterious statement, right? So in a first statement, I know I am Brahman. In this first statement, the meaning of I is Brahman, correct. But then later statement, my wife is very sick. By the time he comes to the second statement, that first statement is forgotten. Because the very word my, in that the meaning of word I is not Brahman. So he immediately forgets. I know I am Brahman, but my wife is very sick. So basically, so that is where he is going to target now. I mean, two statements cannot coexist. They can coexist, but if you are very serious about it and you take yourself to be a husband in a reality, first statement you say you are Brahman, and in a very next statement, without much gap, you say that you are a husband and you are complaining to a Swami that your wife is really sick and you are worried about it. Well, these two statements then cannot coexist. And so, basically, even after knowledge, you say they are asantushtaha. How it is possible? If you have really knowledge that I am Purnaha, if you know that I am limitless, and then you say, well, I am not free, or I'm not satisfied yet, I have so many things to do, etc., etc., then that definitely reveals that you have not understood properly. But he, instead of saying that, he makes a little fun. Vidyaranya asks a counter question now to the student who is asking this question. The student asks the question that I have a knowledge of this Advaita Paroksha Vastu. And not only me, other students also have all this knowledge of this Advaita Paroksha Vastu. So knowledge is there, but we don't have a Jnana Phalam. We don't feel that we are free. We don't have a moksha. Then what is that gap? That student asks to the teacher. Teacher asks a counter question to that student. What he asks? Prabuddhasya charvaka dehe deha atma katham? Prabuddhasya charvaka dehe. Prabuddham. Enlightened. So, well, katham? How come this enlightened charvaka, one who has gained the knowledge that I am Atma and Deha Vilakshanam, etc. So how come enlightened Charvaka says that I am Deha yet? Please explain me that. What is wrong? What is wrong in this question? What is wrong? Huh? What is wrong in this question? That suppose your question is what? He is telling to a teacher. Teacher says, my question is, Prabuddhasya Charvaka Dehe Katham Deha Atma. The Charvaka who has gained this Atma Jnanam, enlightened person, he says that I am yet he says that I am a Deha. How is it possible? I'm please answer. Oh student, please answer to this question. Well, if it's true, right? If he claims that I am body, he is not enlightened. And if he is enlightened, he won't claim I am body. And therefore, the word enlightened is wrongly used. Means he has a knowledge. This particular Charvaka is one who is enlightened, means who has a knowledge, self-knowledge, is wrongly used. Because if he has a really knowledge, he would not say, I am Deha. And therefore, this enlightenment or this knowledge, the Charvaka has no meaning. Because, same way, even after knowledge, you say I am a samsari, I have not yet gained moksha, etc. Well, your knowledge is a lip service. He is going to prove beautifully. So your knowledge, self-knowledge, is a lip service. It is not knowledge at all. If knowledge is there, you will not sit in the other row of the chair. Yeah. If you sit on there, therefore your knowledge is basically doubtful. And he is going to give example also, beautiful example. Anyway, in verse 258, now student answers and everything, we will see that. Samyak vicharo nastyasya didoshaditi chet tatha asantushta astu shastrartham natvaikszanta visheshatah. Students answer to this teacher's question. Teacher has asked this question, right? Prabuddhasya charvaka dehe katham deha atma. The Charvaka who is enlightened with the self-knowledge, how he says that I am Deha? Teacher asks to student. Then student answer here in this verse. Student's answer to this question of a teacher, it is because enlightened Charvaka is partially enlightened, he says. Partially enlightened. He, because he has gained knowledge, but he goes by experience, right? Then experientially he feels that he is a body. And so, like people attend the class of this Tattvamasi, attend the class, all entire series of Tattvamasi lectures are over, and then he comes and he comes out and he says, "Oh, I have to catch the bus, and and I have to go to Tirupati and this and that, and now I'm very old. How can I go? This traveling, etc., coming to all these classes and everything is very very is very very tiresome for me." He literally complains like that because experientially he says still feels that I am the body mind sense complex, even though he has come out of this lecture series of Tattvamasi. Is possible. And therefore, basically, so it is universal experience. So, and oh teacher, even if you go to Upanishad, basically, and you open the Taittiriya Upanishad and that to Brahmanand Valley, which proves that you are Brahman. Well, the very first thing is what? He's telling to teacher, he very bold student. He says, if the very first kosha in Taittiriya Upanishad is what? Annamaya is Atma. And therefore, same way, so he has studied Upanishad. But he has a partial knowledge. So partially enlightened. So definitely he says, I am the body. This Charvaka says, I am the body. So, asya, for this Charvaka, samyak vicharaha nasti. Student is telling, student is replying to the question of a teacher. Teacher's question was what? Prabuddhasya charvaka dehe katham dehaha atma. So, this charvaka which is enlightened, why he is telling, he is making a fun, literally speaking, because student says, I have a aparoksha advaita jnanam and yet I have not moksha. Means I am enlightened with the knowledge and yet I have not moksha. How is it possible? So instead of saying that your jnanam is not samyak, not on a proper footing, instead of saying that, Vidyaranya makes a fun by saying that this Charvaka has gained a knowledge. Charvaka means you can understand, who says there is nothing other than this, who believes only in Pratyaksha, even does not believe in Anumana also. Anyway, and so who says what is Pratyaksha means what he is directly experienced, and directly experiences his body which is conscious, and therefore the consciousness is Atma, that's true, but the body is conscious and body is Atma. And there's such a kind of a Charvaka. And Prabuddhasya Charvaka. Katham deha Atma. So like that he raised this question. Then students answers that. Teacher told that you answer this question. How enlightened Charvaka has this kind of a... how does he say that I am still deha? So student says, he says because samyak vicharaha nasti. Because he has not thought over totally. What is this consciousness? Why he has not thought properly? Di doshat. Because of the defect in intellect. So he has studied. Because you say enlightened. So he has studied. But still he claims that he is the body. Iti chet. If Acharya says, if you reply like this, if your answer is like this, my answer now you listen. That same way, after knowledge, if you have still questioned that I am a samsari, I am not having moksha, I am not having a phalam of the jnanam, definitely your inquiry, self-inquiry is not complete. And don't think he is going to give an example. Very beautiful example, very apt example, which in today's world also Vedantic students tell. That shows there is a lip service but not clear understanding of the words of pertaining to the self. In Pujya Swamiji's word, glossing over the words, Brahman, very word Brahman regarding me is also glossed over. If you know that you are Brahman thoroughly, clearly, you will not say that I am a samsari anymore. And therefore, don't say that I am having a paroksha jnanam of a Advaita Vastu and still I don't have a moksha. Don't say that. Samyak vicharaha nasti. He is going to give with the example. And so, so you have not looked into Shastra thoroughly. You have glossed over Shastric words. You have superficially understood the things. And when people speak on, keep on speaking this kind of a words. I have understood I am Nitya Muktaha, but there is no moksha. I am Nitya Muktaha. Nitya Muktaha means there is not any moment where I am bound. Nitya Muktaha, but still I am not Muktaha. I am not having moksha. What is this? Vidyaranya says, look into your words which you talk. Visheshataha na aikshantaha. Basically, Visheshataha. You have not applied your mind to those words which you have heard of from the teacher. Na ikshantaha, you are not able to see. Means you have not applied your mind fully and therefore you are saying I am samsari. Non-application of the mind is an obstacle. Nididhyasanam is a solution for that. And so Vidyaranya is going to explain this, how we don't apply our mind. When we use this word, I am Nitya Muktaha. And I am giving you a clue now. What is this Nitya Muktaha? Now you see what is the meaning of that, and this he has not understood. What is Nitya Muktaha? See, word I has a Vachyartha and Lakshyartha. You know now very well. I has a Vachyartha, direct meaning of word I is Ahankara. And the Lakshyartha means the implied meaning of the word I is a Brahman, Sakshi. Sakshi of this Ahankara. So we forget these two meanings and use word I with the word Nitya Muktaha. I am Nitya Muktaha. There you have used the word I loosely. Loosely means without proper understanding. How can you say without proper understanding? Because you say I am Nitya Muktaha and yet I am not free. I'm not having moksha. Means word I you have not understood properly. Why? In Jivan Mukti, Ahankara is tied to, Ahankara is never free and Sakshi is ever free. How can you say Ahankara is never free? In Jivan Mukti also, Ahankara is tied to the Prarabdha. We have discussed that. Ahankara, a general I sense in the body will not go till the body falls. Because in order to experience a Prarabdha, Sukha Dukha, etc., you should have a I sense in the body. So body means a Prarabdha. Very I know sense in the body also will remain in the Prarabdha, in the body, it will remain I sense till the Prarabdha is over. If there is no I sense in the body, means the body becomes inert, how will you experience pleasure or pain? And therefore, Ahankara is never free even in a Jivan Mukti state. And in Videha Mukti, Ahankara becomes non-existent. So Ahankara is one which is never free in either in ignorant state or either in a Mukti state. And Sakshi is ever free even when you are ignorant, even when you gain knowledge, or even even in a Jivan Mukti state or even in a Videha Mukti state. Sakshi is ever free. Ahankara is never free. Word I is used for both. When you say, I am Nitya Muktaha, what is the meaning of word I? What is the meaning of word I? Does that I refer to Sakshi or does the I refer to Ahankara? Well, I am not clear. That's what I say. using the word loosely. Because I'm saying that I'm literally speaking, I'm saying like that because you say I am Nitya Muktaha, I am ever free, and yet I have not gained moksha, means you have not understood what is the meaning of word I. If you have not understood the meaning of word I or the self, where is self knowledge? So if you have understood properly, you say I have gained self knowledge. What is the footing of this self knowledge in which you are not even clear by using the word I? If you have really done a viveka between ahankara and sakshi, you will say I am nitya muktaha. You will not utter the next sentence, I am not free. If you know clearly you are a Sakshi, Sakshi is ever free. Therefore, you are ever free. Then how will you use the word next sentence that I am not free? So, samyak vicharaha nasti. And therefore, Sakshi is ever free. Vedanta is nothing but to switch over the I from ahankara, which is never free, to the Sakshi, which is ever free. That is the knowledge. And if you don't have this knowledge, don't claim that I have self knowledge and yet I am not free. And therefore you can understand, it's so serious issue, right? But this is very, very beautiful. And therefore Jnani always, Jnani is the one who has accepted ahankara's non-freedom. And Jnani claims Sakshi's ever freedom. Even if I don't know, I am ever free. That's called Nitya Muktaha. So, even in a state of gaining knowledge or in a state of ignorance, I am ever free. That's called Nitya Muktaha. If you know that, the real meaning of word I is this Sakshi, which is ever free, how can you again say that I am not free? I have not gained moksha. I am having a self-knowledge and I am not moksha. Is a contradiction. And you are asking me the gap between the two. That people like me and other students here, we all have got a self-knowledge now. And still we are not free. Well, tell us, where is the gap? I mean, what is there in this gap? It's not true. So, visheshataha na ikshantaha. You don't apply your mind while using the words. Nitya Muktaha, Brahma, etc., etc., Shuddha Buddha Mukta Svabhavaha, or you keep using, not applying your mind what these words indicate. And then what to do now? I am listening to every day. Do Nididhyasanam, take one word and see that the meaning of that word is yourself. Take every word. Take word Nitya, take word Mukta, and then see, not just at the intellectual level or something. This is you. Every word which is used in the teaching, word Atma, Brahman, or all this, Nitya, Shuddha, etc. The meaning of every word is you, which is immediate. Consciousness. It is non-dual, of course. So this is what he says. Now verse 259. He gives an example now. Yada sarve pramuchyante kama yesya hridishritaah iti shrautam phalam drashtam neti chedrashtameva tat. So how student uses the word I without application of a mind and complain that I have knowledge and I have not gained moksha, etc. For that he gives an example. Means I have studied and still I have a problem of a samsara. Well, this question everyone has. Vidyaranya analyzes thoroughly and he He makes us clear for us. Student says, well, I have understood very well, you taught very well, and Shruti talks about this jnana phalam, moksha, etc. But even after gaining so much of knowledge, when I look at myself, I feel that I have not gained the jnana phalam. And Shishya quotes this: Yada sarve pramuchyante kamayasya hridishritaha. So when jnanam arises, yada, jnana kale, when knowledge arises, sarve kamaha pramuchyante. All desires leave. Hridisthitaha, which were located in my mind, will leave when self-knowledge arises. And I am gaining knowledge since many years now, and I have gained knowledge. If you are not there, I can talk also about this self-knowledge. I can even talk about this equation also. Tattvamasi, Prajnanam, Brahma, anything I can talk. Yeah. So, but this, even though I have knowledge, kama hridisthitaha na pramucyanti. We should take that way. And so, I know there are desires in my mind. I know I am not the mind. Okay, I know this much, I am not the mind. And therefore, these desires also are in the mind. But let me tell you, the result of this knowledge will be what? So, sarve kamaha pramucyanti. And so all the kamas will go, but definitely I feel my desires are not gone. Well, so how come I have many desires? Freedom from all the desires is a result of this knowledge. Yada sarve pramuchyante kama hridisthitaha kamaha pramuchyante. And therefore, I know I am not the mind. I understand that very well. And hridisthitaha, all the desires in the mind, that also I know. But all the desires are not yet gone from me. And therefore, knowledge is there, but this jnana phalam, basically I am not free from all the desires. Na drashtam, iti shrautam phalam na drashtam. And therefore, I don't see freedom from the kama of myself. So, how will you explain that? We say, what is this I? Please tell us. Kama has not left you. All the desires have not left you. What is this I? What is this I? It has not left your mind, or it has not left you? It has not left your mind, then why should you complain? Because you say you are not the mind. And on the other moment you say, well, the desires are not left me. Means I am not free from the desire. I know I am Brahman, but I am not free from the desire. And therefore, basically the phalam which has been shown, free from all the desires, is not there for me. And therefore, I am not free. Shautam phalam na drashtam. So what is the phalam which has been shown in this, the Shastra, is not there for me. So up to this is student statement. Iti chet. So Acharya says to him, to the student, that if this is your question, tad drashtameva. So basically, you have not applied your mind properly. Freedom from kama should be claimed by you. Why? Because in Atma there is no desire. Atma is ever free from the kama, even in the state of ignorance. And therefore, if you have really known the self, you will tell that I am free from kama. Right? Because you know the self now. And self is ever free, not in the state of this, knowledge. Self is self, which is ever free from any desire. And therefore, you say that I know the self, and yet I am not free from the desire, means the word I is used loosely by you. Word I, sometimes you refer to the mind, and sometimes you refer to the consciousness. Means you are not clear. You are not clear. If you say I am ever free from the desire, I was free from desire, I am free from desire, and I will be free from desire. If you utter these words, I would say you are having a knowledge. Aham nitya kama rahitah atma asmi. This is the knowledge. But you say, well, I am still not free from the desire. I have self knowledge, and yet I am not free from the desire. You have not a samyak vichara. You have not applied your mind properly. This is what has been told. This is enough for today. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.